All right, let's talk about something we all do, probably without even thinking about it. You land on a new website and you see that beautiful, shiny Login with Google button. You click it, and boom, you're in. It's magic, right? But what's actually happening under the hood to make that work so smoothly and securely? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. It wasn't always this slick. Way back in the internet's Stone Age, the method was honestly kind of terrifying. Let's say a new app, we'll call it Terrible Pun of the Day, wanted to access your Google contacts. It would literally just ask for your Gmail username and your password. You just type it in and hand over the keys to your entire digital life.
Yikes is right. I mean, think about it. Giving your password to some random third-party app? That's a huge security nightmare. You have no idea if they're storing it safely, and now they can see everything, not just the one thing you wanted to give them access to.
So clearly that couldn't last. We needed a much better way, a system where you could grant very specific, limited permissions to an app without ever handing over your password. So how did the internet solve this massive trust issue?
The first big piece of the solution is a security standard called OAuth. And honestly, the best way to get your head around it is to think of it as a digital valet key for your online accounts. It's all about permission.
So, the official term for what OAuth 2.0 does is delegated authorization. And the key word there is delegated. You're not just giving away your master key. You are delegating very specific, very limited abilities to an app so it can act on your behalf.
Let's stick with that key analogy. The old scary way was like giving a valet the master key to your house. Sure, they can park your car, but they can also unlock your front door, raid your fridge, and use your Wi-Fi. The OAuth way is totally different. It's like giving the valet a special key that only starts the car and unlocks the driver's side door. That's it. It can't be used for anything else.
Okay, so to see how this works, we need to meet the players in this little drama. First, there's you. You're the resource owner because it's your data. Then you have the app, our terrible pun of the day, which is called the client. And finally, you've got the service, like Google, which plays the role of the authorization server, the ultimate gatekeeper.
So you have these three players, and they have to engage in this really specific, secure, and coordinated process. You can kind of think of it like a well-choreographed dance.
So, the dance begins. The app bounces you over to Google's login page, asking for permission to do specific things, called scopes. You see that familiar consent screen. You check that it's only asking for your contacts, and you click Allow. Now here's where it gets clever. Google doesn't send the app a permanent key. Instead, it sends your browser back to the app with a temporary one-time use code. The app then takes that code and, in a private back-channel conversation, swaps it with Google for the real prize. And that prize is called the access token. This is it. This is the digital valet key we've been talking about. To us, it's just a long string of random characters, but to the app, it's the key that lets it go to Google's API and say, hey, I have permission now, let me see those contacts. And the most important part? The app got this key without ever seeing your password.
Okay, that's great. But hang on a second. We've got a new problem. A valet key can start a car, but it doesn't have the driver's name written on it. OAuth is fantastic for authorization. That's the what an app can do part. But it doesn't actually handle authentication. That's the who is this user part. How does the app know it's you?
So, how do we solve that? Well, this is where the second crucial piece of the puzzle slots right in. It's called OpenID Connect, or OIDC. And if OAuth gives the app a valet key, you can think of OIDC as giving it a verifiable ID badge to go with it.
Now, OIDC isn't some totally separate competing thing. It's actually designed as a thin, simple layer that sits directly on top of OAuth 2.0. Its whole job is to add that one missing piece, user identity.
And this is the absolute key takeaway. With OAuth, the app gets an access token, the key that says what it can do. When OIDC is added to the mix, the app also gets an ID token. That's the badge that proves who you are. One is the key, the other is the badge. You need both for a secure login.
So, what is this ID token exactly? Well, it's a special, securely packaged piece of data called a JSON Web Token, or JWT for short. Think of it like a tamper-proof envelope that contains little bits of information about you. Things like your unique user ID, your name, your email. Each piece of info is called a claim.
And if you ever see one, it just looks like 3 chunks of gibberish separated by dots. That's the header, the payload with your info, and a digital signature. And that signature is the most important part.
It allows the app to mathematically prove that this token really came from Google and that nobody has messed with it along the way.
Okay, so we've got the Valet Key from OAuth and the ID badge from OIDC. We've gone through the technical dance, but why does this combination matter so much in how we use the internet every single day?
Because when you put them together, they become the engine that powers single sign-on, or SSO. That incredible convenience of using one single trusted identity, like your Google account, to securely log in to all sorts of other apps and websites. Seriously, once you know what to look for, you see it everywhere. Every login with Google, every continue with Facebook, every sign in with Apple. That's them. That's OAuth and OIDC working together behind the scenes. This duo has completely changed the game, making the web not just easier to use, but way, way more secure.
It's pretty cool to see the evolution, right? We started in the Wild West of just sharing passwords. Then came some heavier, more corporate-focused standards, but we eventually landed on this flexible, developer-friendly combo of OAuth and OIDC that really works for the modern mobile internet.
This system we have now is just so clever. It cleanly separates what an app is allowed to do from who you are. And it does all of that complex dancing without your actual password ever leaving Google. It's a huge step up.
But here's the final thought. The whole system still relies on you having a password with Google in the first place, which leads to a fascinating question. What if the next big step is to just get rid of that original password completely? That's what things like passkeys and other new technologies are trying to do. But that, well, that's a story for another explainer.